Hello class. Yesterday you have seen how basically the operations on a queue is done. Okay, I explained you by diagram. Let us recap whatever we have learned yesterday. But one thing let me tell you, I have written the functions just like the way we have done for the stack. We have distributed the jobs, various activities that we do in a stack: push, pop, peek, displaying items in different functions. Exactly the same way we will do for queue also. And finally there will be a main body where all these functions will be called from. Okay, the technique is same. Whatever we have done for stack, the same thing we are going to do for the queue. But for queue, if you remember, yesterday I told you that always front and rear, they keep on shifting to the right. Their value increases, right? When you insert an item, what happens? Rear increases, and when you delete an item, front increases. But one thing we have to remember here, that we are trying to understand this whole concept through list. Fine. And these are actually supposed to be done on a single dimension array. Now the behavior of array and the behavior of list are not the same. I'm just giving you a small example. Say there is a list here, okay? There is a list here with 4 cells. You have 23, 29, 25 and say 21. These 4 items were stored. This is 0th cell, this is first cell, this is second cell and this is third cell. Under these circumstances, if I say remove a cell by doing the pop, you know the pop function, right? If I do pop, say my list name is P. If I do P dot pop and say if I write 0th cell, then what will happen? The 0th cell will be removed. Now after the 0th cell is removed, how the list looks like? Does the list look like this? No, the list will not look like this. What will happen? The list will look like 29, 25, 21. Right? We know list elements are represented like this. And if we draw the diagram, okay, index wise what will happen? 29, 25, 21. So 25 will have now the index 0, 25 will have 1 and 21 will have 2. That means the indexing, the whole indexing system of the list will change if you pop an element. Okay, if you push an element only this side, obviously it will keep on increasing, the higher index will increase. But if you pop, then what happens? Once again the reshuffling takes place. So we have learned yesterday that pop, during the pop, that is during basically the DQ. If you remember, I told you these two terms, NQ and DQ. NQ means to insert an element in a queue, and DQ means to delete an item from the queue, that is pop. Now yesterday we learned that push, for basically the DQ, what happens? The front increases because we delete items from the front. Fine. Now when we actually write the program, we might see a slightly different thing. I'm telling you from the beginning, we will see a slightly different thing when you do so. But that doesn't matter, because since we are representing the whole queue through list, so that difference will come. Okay, I am repeating once again, your syllabus very clearly says that you have to represent, you have to understand or realize the concept of stacks and queues through list only. Fine. So if you do it through list, it will not show all the features of basically queue and stack the way it is supposed to be. So what I showed you yesterday through diagram, that is the actual theory of various activities which basically happen in a queue. But when we write the program, we will see we have to mix and match it as per the properties of list, since we are implementing the whole thing through a list. Let us see now one by one how we basically insert and delete or remove. Insertion is same, you know, we make use of the function called append. Okay, if there is a list, say my list name is P. If I do P dot append, and if I want to insert an item like this, then what happens? Whatever the elements are in the list, this goes and gets added at the end. That we know. So same thing we are going to do here also, because our queue says that it has to be inserted from the rear end. This is my rear end and this is my front end, right? So if I have to insert from the rear end, so obviously I can make use of append function. There is no problem with that. But while removing, what I will do, you know how to remove. If P is the list, then we use a function called pop. Now here what we write? Here remember, we always have to write 0. Okay? Because I told you that when you remove something, list rearranges the elements once again. Fine? So whichever element will be the first element, that will automatically get the index 0. So if at any given time we have 23, 21 and 25 in a list, see this carefully, and if I remove an element, okay, if I remove the 0th element, it will look like this. Now when it will look like this, automatically this becomes your 0th element and this becomes your first element. So don't you think always you are removing the 0th element? So when we are trying to implement Q through list, remember deletion, removing, or DQ means we are always removing the 0th element of the list. So therefore we write Q, whatever is basically your list dot pop and the 0th. That is how we are going to remove. Let us see from the beginning how it happens. Okay, I wrote 4 functions here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I told you that I will write a main body. If you remember the programs that we wrote in the stack, imagine I am writing the main body here, just showing you the gist of the main body here, right? Though there is no space, so I could not write the main body now. Imagine in the main body I took a list like this, the blank list, Q, right? I named the list as Q. And I also took 2 variables, rear equal to none, and I will write front also equal to none. This will be written in my main body, fine? Now obviously from the main body, if you remember the way we wrote stack, we wrote a menu driven program. When user chose the option to push into the stack, in this case NQ in a queue, okay, we will call that function, and whenever you want to remove, I will call accordingly, fine? So what is happening is my first function, look at this, is empty. So did you understand what is queue? Globally, this list was taken in the main body. Obviously it will be a global one, and front and rear also will be 2 global variables because they are taken in the main part of the function, the main part of the program. So look at this, if Q equal to blank, that means Q is an empty list. In that case it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Now comes NQ. So if I call this function from the main function, obviously I will pass a value so that item can receive it. So I will write NQ and a value, X, which is to be passed. So this item will receive the value, whosoever passes the value to him, okay? From him he will get the value, and this value will be entered. This is going to be my new element in the queue. Now we know that insertion always has to happen from the rear end, from the back. I have taken a look at this global front and global rear. I believe you remember what is the purpose of this. Global front and global rear I wrote because of the fact that the value of front and rear, these are global variables. And there is a possibility that I will change the value of the front and rear. So whenever global variable value is supposed to be changed, there is a possibility of changing in the function. Okay? In that case we mentioned global, so that the change is noticed. The change is noticed by everybody, then the change is permanent. Now he calls the function is empty. Fine? Why he calls the function is empty? Because at the very beginning, rear and front, these were nothing, none. So if it is empty, if the function was is empty, now since I am going to insert an item, so obviously front and rear will no more will be be none. So I put front equal to 0, rear equal to 0. It is like there was a blank list. First time some insertion took place. So I inserted the item 13. Now before I inserted 13, there was no existence of front and rear. Front and rear both were none. Now since 13 is inserted, so what will happen? Front will come into the existence, so front will be 0, the rear also will be 0. So that is what is happening here. Now I have appended the item. Happened with the item means actually this 13 will be placed here. Okay. And therefore what will happen? The value of rear will change. Now always it may not be case like this. It can be like this also. Fine. Where front was 0 and say rear 0, 1, 2 and say rear was here. So in this case what will happen? Since I inserted another value, say I inserted a value 29. So if I inserted a value 29 by this line, so my rear value also will change, rear should increase. So I wrote rear should be equal to whatever be the length of Q minus 1. Okay. So that is my insertion part in a queue, MQ. Okay, what I have done for DQ, DQ means to remove an item. Now when you are removing an item, one situation can arise. What is the situation? The situation is called underflow. When does it come? When we have the list completely empty. There is nothing in the list. Still we are trying to remove from it. That is the situation which is known as underflow. Fine, that we have to check here. Again I have taken global equal to front. Global front and rear front. I told you what is the purpose of that. Now I am calling the function is empty. I called it, fine. If it is empty, that means there was nothing in the list. So in that case, it returns a value underflow. Okay. Otherwise, what happens? Normally, what happens when we delete an item? For example, in this list, I will delete an item. You have seen this same case for stack also. When you remove something by using pop, normally in the delete function, okay, we try to show the item which is delete. That is followed, a standard procedure which is followed by the programmer all over the world. Okay, so IT is basically holding the value which is to be popped. I already explained you why the 0th cell always to be popped, because front will be always placed here. Okay, whenever we remove something, the list will rearrange its basically all the indexes. So therefore 0th element will be the only element to be removed always. So 0th element will be removed because pop 0th, the 0th index, whatever you find, that item is removed from the list. And that item is stored also by IT. IT gets a copy of that value. Fine. So what I will do finally, since I have managed to remove an item actually from the list, I will try to print it. Whosoever will call this function will get back the removed value, and then we will print the value. That is why I stored it in IT. Okay. Now, after removing it, after I removed it, I got length of Q double equal to 0. Length of Q double equal to 0 means say I have only one item. Right? Now, if I remove this also, then what will happen? This is gone. The list has become completely empty, or the queue has become completely empty. Under these circumstances, what should happen? Now front and rear, both of them have become irrelevant. They have no meaning. So that is why front equal to none and rear also equal to none. That will happen only if the length becomes 0. I removed an item from the list or from the queue, and I found the thing, your length is basically 0. If the length is 0, that means it is completely useless. Okay, for front and rear to be there, so both of them have become none. Else, what is happening? Else, that means if the length is not 0. If the length is not 0, then what I should do? I should set front to 0 always, because front has to be 0. Fine. And rear, supposing we have 23, 29, 26 and 25. I'm explaining you once again. Front equal to 0. Why front equal to 0? Because we have removed this one. So if the list is supposed to rearrange itself, 29, if the list looks like 29, 26, 25. So this will become my 0, and this is supposed to be my front. First element from the left becomes the front position. Right? So this will become my front. And rear will be, now look at this, I have 4 items initially, I removed 1 item. So length also is reduced by 1. So rear will be length of Q, that is the length of the list minus 1. So I adjusted the value of front and rear after the removal of the item. And then I return the value IT, whatever is being returned. Okay, and another small function, peek. Peek, I told you, peek is supposed to inspect. So by using the pick function, what are you doing here? We are basically, I forgot in many places to write this code. Please be careful. Okay, when I will give you the notes, I will make sure that nothing is missed out. But while copying here, in many places, probably I forgot to write the code notes. You have to be careful in that. In the pick function, what we do basically, we try to return the value which is the first value of the list from the left. Okay, so basically, whosoever is there in the front position, that item is to be returned. So I wrote if front double equal to none, that means the list was completely empty. In that case, there is no element in the front position, so I return none. Otherwise, I return q0. Q0 means whosoever is there in the zero elements. So if the q is looking like this, then he is to be returned in pick. Okay. So these are the basically 4 functions, and one more function we have to write, display. Display you can do in a very simple way also. If I just write print q in the main body, so it will display whatever is there, what all items are there in the queue or in the list, all will be displayed. We can do it this way, but we should try to display it in a proper manner. Proper manner in the sense, supposing if the list has 29, 35, 16 and say the first element is 19. So this is how it is looking like at any given time. The queue is looking like this. Then while displaying it, it should display like this: 19, 29, 35, 16. In my code, I will show you that I have just formatted the display a bit. I will display it like this. Here the word front will come, and here the word rear will come. Fine. So basically, we just have to manipulate by using a for loop. Nothing much. That I will show you in my next video. Hopefully, you have understood this thing. So I will give you the full coding today, and I will discuss if there is any point to be discussed there. So I did not write the display function, which is just a for loop. I don't think that will be so difficult for you to understand. And main body also I did not write, but main body means basically it will be one user defined function, and from there you will call these functions again and again, exactly the way we have done in the case of stack. So in my notes today I will provide you the full codes. Here I just explained you how it works.